Okay, let's start with a couple of examples. Let's say we start off with 3x cubed plus 10x squared minus 23x divided by x plus 5. Now, one of the rules is, and there are several rules listed on your assignment, so you might want to review those both before and after actually you watch the videos. But one of the rules with long division is, and with synthetic division, that you have to have every power represented in both the dividend and the divisor. So I'm starting with a cube, and then I go to the quadratic, and then the linear. I'm missing the constant. So I'm going to have to put in a placeholder when I do this long division. So it's going to be set up like this. X plus 5 is the divisor. The dividend is 3x cubed plus 10x squared minus 23x plus 0. All right, and then I'm going to do that same kind of long division that you loved back in the future, back in 6th grade. Make that teacher proud. All right, in long division, it's always the first term divided by the first term. So the first term of the dividend is 3x cubed. I can write that over here and do a little separate division, divided by x. And you remember when you're dividing terms like this, it's not, you want to think of this as x cubed or xxx divided by x. And x cubed divided by x is x squared. So this is 3x squared. Another key, in both long and synthetic division, you always work in like term columns. So where is the squared column? 3x squared right here. I go over the x squared in the dividend. Now, what did you do when you got an answer at the top? Part of your quotient, you multiplied by the divisor. Now here, this was only first term by first term over here, but now it's the first part of the quotient times the entire divisor. So that's 3x squared times x is 3x cubed, and then 3x squared times 5 is 15x squared. Got it? What did we do after we multiplied? We then would subtract this entire thing. So I'm going to put the parentheses around here. Now this becomes more important than when you're doing it just with numbers, because you're subtracting both of these terms. So this now becomes a minus, and this becomes a minus. Do you see 3x cubed minus 3x cubed is 0? And if you're doing this right, that first column there is always going to be 0, pair. So here we have plus 10x squared minus 15x squared. That's going to be minus 5x squared. What did I do? Pull down the next term, minus 23x, and now I'm going to repeat the process. First term by first term is minus 5x squared divided by x is negative 5x. Put it over the like term column. Minus 5x multiplied by the divisor. Minus 5x squared minus 25x. Subtract the whole thing. That changes this to a plus. That's your 0 pair again. That makes this a plus. So that's negative 23x plus 25x is 2x plus 0, because I bring down that final term. And notice now I'm going to be at the end, so the next thing over there is going to be my remainder. So again, first term, 2x divided by x, that's 2, so it's plus 2, and that's 2x plus 10. I have to subtract that whole thing. That's minus. That gives me a 0 pair, and this becomes minus 10 here, because this is a minus, this is a minus. 0 minus 10 is negative 10. That means my remainder is negative 10. Now I can write that plus negative 10 over x plus 5, or even better, I'm going to just make that a minus 10 over x plus 5. Remember that your remainder is always going to be over the original divisor. Now, let's look at how we could do that same problem with synthetic division. With synthetic division, first rule is you can only use synthetic division when your original divisor is x plus a number or x minus a number. And in this case it is just x plus 5. If it's x squared, you can't use synthetic. If it's 5x, you can't use synthetic unless you divide everything by 5 before you proceed. But since this one is x plus 5, it works. I take the constant in the divisor, which is plus 5, and change the sign to negative 5, and I do what I call putting that in the box. Then I simply take the coefficients of the dividend. In that case, this would be 3, 10, negative 23, and then you've got to have every power represented. So again, I've got to have that 0. So there's 3, you're going to like this, 10, negative 23, and 0. Got it? All right, now what's totally different here, the answer line for synthetic is at the bottom of the problem. So you drop the first number automatically, 3. And then every number on the number line I multiply by the box. So 3 times a negative 5 is negative 15. And instead of subtracting, this is another advantage, I just add these. That's negative 5. Then I multiply by the box. Negative 5 times negative 5 is plus 25. Add negative 23 and plus 25, I get a plus 2. Multiply by the box, negative 10. The last number in synthetic division is always the remainder, so that's negative 10. By the way, you can see the similarities between these two problems because they're really the same problem, they're just done in different ways. The answer line is down here at the bottom, and it is also written as just the coefficients of the answer. When you do synthetic division, the answer line is always 1 power less than the original dividend. So this is, since the original dividend had cubed, this is now squared. 3x squared minus 5x plus 2 minus 10 over the original divisor, which you recall, even though we have negative 5 here, it was x plus 5. And do you see that we get the same answer? Okay, one more quick example. Sorry about that. Okay. If I've got if I have x to the 4th minus 13x squared plus 32, can I do that by both synthetic and long division if it's divided by x minus 3? And the answer is yes, because the key is that the x minus 3 in the divisor means that it's in x plus a number or x minus a number. And yes, I can do both synthetic and long division. For long division, I'll do this quickly. X minus 3 is going to be divided into the x to the fourth. No x cubed, so it's got to be 0x cubed minus 13x squared plus 0x, no x either, plus 32. Oh, long problem. Okay, so let's do it. First term by first term, x to the fourth divided by x is x cubed. Multiply back, that's x to the fourth minus 3x cubed. And I'm going to subtract from both sides. That's going to be negative, that's going to be plus. So that's 3x cubed minus 13x squared. Divide first term by first term is 3x squared. Multiply back, 3x cubed minus 9x squared. And I subtract that whole thing. That makes that a minus, that makes this a plus. That's going to be just negative 4x squared plus 0x. Every time I'm dropping. All right, negative 4x squared divided by x is negative 4x. And that's going to be negative 4x squared plus 12x. Subtract that whole thing. That's plus, and that's minus. So that's minus 12x plus 32. And so that's going to be negative 12. And it should be done there, negative 12x, and that's plus 36. But that's minus, and that's negative 4 here. Wow, okay. So it's minus 4 over x minus 3. And you say, wow, long problem. But look how fast it goes with synthetic. All right, with synthetic, this is going to be super easy. That's going to be a plus 3 in the box because I changed the sign. 1, 0, negative 13, 0, 32. Watch how fast it goes. This is why this is such a good technique. 1, 3, 3, 9, negative 4, negative 12, negative 12, negative 36, negative 4. The last term is always the remainder, and there you've got it. This is 1 power less than the original dividend. X cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x minus 12 minus 4 over x minus 3. Same answer that we had before. Thanks a lot.